If you don't start with me, start with someone and get going on this journey of investing. As we discussed during this podcast, the time value of money is the biggest thing. So start now. Don't wait. Whether it be me or somebody else helping you get involved, talk to a financial advisor, have them help you get started with this journey. Because the sooner you start, the sooner you'll be able to build that wealth that you need and live the way you want to live in retirement.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to my show. My name is Tiffany Alexander. I'm so excited to have you here with me. This is Unveiling Journeys. I have a great guest for you today. And let me just tell you a smidge about me. If you know me at this point, I love people. I love hanging out with people. I love getting to know some phenomenal people that are making this ridiculous ripple in the pond of small business, medium business, big business. And whenever I get a chance to get to know these cool people, I cannot contain myself. Number one, it's usually like, how can I get the people that I know to you? Also, by the way, you've been so cool. How do I get to know more people like you? Or you can just say, hey, who do you know that I need to know? You can just ask that. It reminds me of like being a kid and one of my friends was like doing a Cutco presentation and they slid the paper across the counter and was like, I'm not leaving here until you give me 10 people. I'm like, we're friends. You know, the same 10 friends that I have, right? Being in college. But it's like that in business and the world goes round and round with referrals. And you should totally be doing this too. The podcast was born because I can no longer contain my excitement with amazing people that I've met. And I feel compelled and obligated and this big responsibility to share them with people because I want you guys all to know the people that I've been meeting. So, with that, I have a phenomenal guest for you today. I'm excited to introduce Charles. Welcome to the show. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being here. Do me a favor, tell everybody a little bit about you and what you're up to right now.
Tiffany, thank you so much for having me on the show today. My name is Charles Reichelt, and my firm's name is FTG Squared. That stands for the greater good. And what I'm up to and what I'm doing is helping small businesses with their 401k plans.
Ooh, small businesses with our 401k plans. That's kind of complicated. That's not something you just like walk right into. How does that
Correct.
work?
Well, basically, what I've done is create a 5-step program to helping small businesses create, implement, put a plan in place, and then I help service it for the long haul. I've created a very easy way to do this and get started.
Okay, the reason why I wanted to have you on is because back when I was the W-2er versus like a 1099er, business owner, right? Like when you walk into a company, they're like, slide it across the table. Here's your 401k plan. You just figured like, oh, this is something everyone has, or this is something someone had to figure out. But if it was a big company, they have these like companies all lined up. But for small businesses, they have to figure all this out, right? They
That's
gotta
correct.
this.
Yes.
So the idea and the concept of this, because I've never really had to have employees when you flip houses or like you own a fund. I do everything myself. But this is a world that I didn't know. And the fact that you're now the resident expert at this because of how long you've been doing this, I was like, I have friends that own companies that probably need to know you right away. So I was like, I need to tell people about you because I didn't realize that this is something you maybe couldn't just Google, that you should have someone in your corner to figure this out
Absolutely.
as a small business owner. And quite honestly, I have a firm belief and a faith that small business runs America. I think that
Me
if it
too.
weren't for all the Americans showing up to be the small business owners, to be like the guy on the street corner, I mean, think about every dry cleaner. They're not a conglomerate, right? We
They are
need them
not.
so bad.
They are
So
not.
I was excited to hear about this that you're doing, and then I also wanted to tell your story about how you got here, because it was fun to be able to hang out with you in advance before coming on the show.
Yeah.
So let's do a little bit of that. Like, tell me, let's unveil your journey. Tell me,
Sure.
where are you from, and what did this look like starting? And I
Yeah.
mean, did you think you were going to be doing this as a kid? And what did school look like? I mean, super loaded question.
Nobody wakes up and wants to be a 401k advisor. I can tell you that. So it's definitely a journey. Born in Washington, D.C. and in the Maryland area. My parents had us all start little mini businesses as kids, me and my siblings. And so we got to working, at a younger age. And after college, believe it or not, I wanted to work for the Olympics. And so I moved down to Atlanta and thought, hey, the Olympics would definitely want somebody who's in their 20s, and that was what really motivated me. But getting down there and getting settled, I realized that, hey, maybe the Olympics was not in my corner. And so I answered an ad in the paper at the time, the Atlanta Journal Constitution, and they were looking for accounting and finance majors. And lo and behold, I joined that firm and they trained me up on how to administer 401k plans.
Oh my god.
And when I was like getting started, I remember asking the instructor, I said, wait a minute, people actually take money out of their pay and they put it where and why are they doing this? I mean, that was sort of how naive I was. But I was there at the kind of quote unquote beginning of 401ks. 401ks launched in 82. I started my career in 1990. And the firm I worked for at the time was one of the first ones to ever launch what we call a daily valued platform, meaning you could move money around on a daily basis. And that was like a brand new thing when I was first started. And so I got into the administration, I got into the implementation, bounced around at a couple firms, and then I started a family and I wanted to start making more money. And the only way to do that really in that business was to be in sales. So serendipity knocked and I was at a firm and two salespeople quit literally in 1 week. And I went to the boss man and I said, hey, I'm going to save you $50,000. He's like, how's that? I said, well, you don't need a headhunter. I'll be your next sales guy. He hired me with, a little bit of training, and I launched my sales career in 2000. And then last but not least, I was with a vendor, John Hancock, for almost 19 years. I retired from them
Wait, what
and
does that mean? You were with a vendor and you were
I was selling their product. I was selling their platform to small
okay.
businesses is what I
Okay,
was doing.
okay. All
Yep.
right.
And so in selling and doing that, I decided, hey, I love my sales career. It's been great, but I didn't want a quota over my head every year, because in sales, you start at zero on January 1st, right? You build, build, build. It's like, is it Prometheus or somebody putting the rock up the hill, right? It happens every year. And so 59 years old, I wanted to kind of give back to the community that sustained me all these years, and that would be the small business community. So I started this business, FTG Squared, really to be the easy button for founders and owners. My goal is to help them reduce taxes, build wealth through the business, and I don't want them really having to lift a finger to do the work. So I've created over 3,000 of these plans, and it's one of those things where like I feel like I can do that for people, and then on the flip side, helps employees who don't really, you kind of talked about sliding the 401k stuff across the table, like help the employees really figure out what's right for them. What's the best tax strategy? What's the best option for me? How much should I save? And then help them along their journey and close in the wealth gap. And that's
Yeah.
where I am today. I help small businesses create, implement, and put these plans in place.
Tell me a little bit about what that transition was like from leaving yeah, there was, like, a number over your head, but it was a little bit of a safety and comfort of, like, your place, your home, right? To
Yeah,
leave that to go and build your own company. Did you have, like, an overlap, or did you just, like, jump all in?
I just jumped all in because I really wanted to give myself 6 months grace, really. So I did take 6 months off to say, all right, do you really want to do this? And then I was fortunate enough to have a registered investment advisory firm that I really loved working with as a person at John Hancock, and they brought me on board. And so I started at scratch. I started with zero. And I've been building it ever since. And I have my year anniversary was a couple days ago. And so, I'm well on my way, and it's been great. So huge learning curve. I used to have a team of people that would help me, and now it's just me. So when something happens, I want to look behind my chair and say, "Hey, can somebody help me with this?" And then I realize No, that's you. So,
Right,
that's
but
that's that's what I
you seem
identify
like
with,
you're
right?
the person every if you were in another company right now, people would be asking you those questions. So really it's like you're gonna look within yourself almost to the answer at this point, except for all the new crazy stuff that, year in and year out that government throws at us, right?
That's correct. That's so correct. So, yeah, that's what I'm that's why I did it. That's why I'm doing it now, and, I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying, working with small businesses, founders, owners, and then the people that make it go.
Oh my gosh, that's so neat. Now, you said you've created 3,000 of these
I
plans. If
know.
someone's gonna help me do something, I
It's
hope they've
insane.
done this 3,000 times before. Like, I don't want a brain surgeon on their first day out of med school to operate on my brain, right? Like, and I don't want someone in my business necessarily who's their first day to create this employer, 401k plan for my employees, or even if it was just for myself, right? You can a lot of perks in being able to do this stuff and exercise all opportunities. But what I imagine is there are pros and cons with all of this, and because you're like a broker of it, you get to figure out what is the best thing. Now, is it state by state, or how does that work for each company that comes to you?
Well, great question. So I'd say first off, it is kind of state to state. So not every state has a mandate, but there's a lot of states that do have these retirement plan mandates. So I don't lead with this aspect of it, but it is important to know that if you live in one of those states and you don't have a plan, technically you should have a plan and you could potentially be fined by the state. But Tiff, you know, business owners don't want to be told what to
No,
do, right?
no.
That
Well, I'm
that's
over
the
here in
last thing they
California.
wanna be told is
Yeah,
like,
and I
"You
feel like
must."
California's gotta be one of those states, right? Like,
It
they just
is.
make it
Yeah.
and it's
Cal
because they wanna give all the rights to the people, which I appreciate. There's
Yeah,
protections and safeties and of
absolutely.
retirement that's available, even if people don't wanna like, people can opt out, but you should be offering it to employees, right?
Correct, correct. You have to be offering something. And so what I tend to focus on is really how easy it can be done today, and then the positive side of that, and that's tax credits. So the federal government has significant tax credits for starting these plans to the tune of anywhere can be as much as 50% subsidy on the total cost of the plan. And that's administration, matching, the whole enchilada. So it can be a very that's what I focus on, right? Is the easy part and the benefits to the business for reducing taxes and reducing the amount that they have to shell out for the first couple years.
Oh, man. That's interesting. This is really good info, and I'm glad that I have you in my pocket now, or as in real estate, I like to say you're on my tool belt when I show up to the job site, right? So, like, not just throwing a hammer, right? I might need a screwdriver at some point, because the day comes when I need to hire employees. I know one of these people that I need to reach out to you for. Now,
Absolutely.
this is a lot of hard work, like, and you could have just stayed where you're at, and now you're churning, and growing from really a lot of incredible people that you've been able to help. You keep showing up and now you're crushing it. Like, why do you keep going? Why do you keep doing what you do?
Well, I'm a strong believer and you got to have purpose in life. Um, I try to stay healthy. I want to. I have 3 children. I want to see what they're going to do in life, and so I want to be here and I want to be present. Part of doing that is being purposeful. And if you don't have a purpose in life, if I was just sitting around watching Netflix all day, um, probably not the most meaningful thing. It'd be fun for a while, but I don't know if I would do that entirely. So, staying, in the community, staying connected to my friends, staying active, and then this passion for doing this is it kinda keeps me going and, fuels me in terms of helping people, and I always get a buzz out of it when I get, like, let's say 90 to 100% of the people participating in the plan and then having them contact me long term to help them, figure out what's gonna be the next piece of their journey.
I appreciate your heart on this because, quite honestly, as like a 22-year-old, when that paperwork got slid across the table to me, even the lady herself was like, I don't even know. Like, you just probably
That's so
and
true.
it was so overwhelming that this lady that I looked up to didn't even know what to do with that. Now I'm like resident expert in finances and I'm thinking people should know this stuff, but like even just your confidence and your like way that you hold yourself to say, "Hey, I want them to know and understand and be able to participate in this." That's incredible. But as a competitive person, I love that you're like, yes, I want them to get this incredible plan that I've built for them into their hands so that way they can tuck away something for later. I mean, with some benefits, right? Because 401k, you can defer your taxes, which I'm a big fan of. If you guys don't even know about that, that's a whole nother conversation. I'd love to dive in with you, and so would Charles, because why not? If you can, especially if you're under the threshold of making a certain amount of money, let's defer that at some point,
Yeah.
maybe later. Oh dear.
Well well, I was very lucky, Tiff, because I had some really good mentors along the way, and, growing up in the business, my manager said to me, "You're gonna do 10%." And I was like, "What?" I didn't even know, she's like, "You're gonna do 10% of your pay, and you're gonna thank me later." And I do thank her, like, I mean, if I was 23, 24 years old when I started that, and, the time as the time value of money is so powerful. The sooner you start, the better things are for you. So that's one of the messages I always give people is start now. Some people come up to me and they say, "Hey, I really want to think about this." And I'll just say, "Hey, no offense, but like you're not going to think about it. Like it's not going to happen. It's not going to get on your radar screen. Let's make a decision today, right? Yes or no. If we're either going to do this or we're not, because otherwise, everybody forgets about it, right? Long term. So I want to help people get started soon, and it served me very well in my career.
That's neat. I like the reason why you're doing all this stuff and how you're able to help so many small business owners that I know need support so deeply, and that you're doing all this. At this point, people are thinking, I want you to help me. What is your favorite way for people to come find you to talk to you about this?
I'm old school. I like people just to call me. I mean, I pick up my phone. I'm very accessible. I return all my calls, even if you don't leave me a message. So I'd say my best way to reach me is my cell phone number,
Yeah, that's great.
and
What's your cell phone?
it's 301-466-9945.
I love that.
If
Oh,
you would prefer not to text me or call me, uh, you can always email me at charles@ftgsquared.com. So that's always a easy way to get a hold of me. But I'm very accessible. I work, it's I will answer your call. I will get back to you, right? That's just been the way I've operated all these years.
oh, that's great. I'm a firm believer in the same thing. I pick up every call, even though I know some of it's spam, because I just don't know. I just don't know. My phone number is
Yeah,
out
I
there for
don't
a reason.
try. Could be opportunity knocking, and
Yeah, 100%.
you're gonna like not do it, right? So, and if it's spam, I just hit the, block contact and report. So,
Exactly. But I gotta answer it to find out. What if they, like, mislabeled an actual person, you know?
exactly,
Right,
exactly,
right. Oh, this
exactly.
is great. This is great. Okay, 2 more questions left. What what's next? Like, what's on the horizon?
So next for me is really, so I'm really focused on the retirement plan side, but I also believe that for people to build wealth in America, there's one other step that needs to be taken, and that's to purchase a home. And you don't have to purchase it outright, but you have to start on the process of building equity in the home. Believe it or not, I would have started with that first because that's actually the most impactful way to build wealth in America is the home. But the problem with that is it's actually more complicated than a retirement plan. Retirement plan, you just hit a button and you decide, boom, I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do it. Owning a home has a lot, going on. Debt, uh, responsibility, so all that is part and parcel of it. So as I continue my service model with employees, I've also aligned myself with some local folks here in Baltimore to assist people that want to get in the home for a first time to encourage that conversation. It may not happen right away, may take a while, but just planting the seed that that's also a big part of building wealth in America. You got to start that, right? And try to get out from renting and start owning. And what's that gonna take? So, aligning people I don't do that work myself, but I know good people that do, and I try to connect them. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the next evolution.
Now you're speaking my language because I'm a firm believer in that. And if you get somebody who's qualified to be able to get you, there's credits and incentives and first time home buyers and just showing up, there's responsibility, but there's also benefits, right? So many
Huge
benefits.
benefits.
Agree,
Huge
agree. And
benefits.
even if you waited, the cycle of real estate's just gonna keep going up. So it's like start anytime. As long as you can wait it out, start anytime.
Yeah.
So, cool. This has been so good. All right, I'm down to my last question, but this is so important. What do we leave everybody with? What do we have as like your lasting nuggets or words of wisdom that we want to end the show?
I guess my lasting words of nuggets or my lasting wisdom would be just to, if you don't start with me, start with someone and get going on this journey of investing. As we discussed during this podcast, the time value of money is the biggest thing. So start now. Don't wait. And whether it be me or somebody else helping you get involved, talk to a financial advisor, have them help you get started with this journey. Because the sooner you start, the sooner you'll be able to build that wealth that you need and live the way you want to live in retirement.
Oh, you are spewing words of wisdom that I cannot be more excited about how you're saying that. So, this has been awesome. I'm so
Thank
grateful
you.
for your time. I'm so happy that we got to record
Me
today.
too.
This
Thank
is
you.
early 2026. Amazing things coming up for the rest of the year that as soon as we put out this show, we're going to tell more and more people about kind of what it is you're doing and bring some amazing people straight to you. Just call, text, or go to Charles' website or send him an email so that way you guys can reach out to him directly. And I am so grateful for you guys staying on this long, hanging out with me to be able to listen to my amazing guest, Charles. And I will see you guys on another episode. So you go have a great day, and I'll talk to you all soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.